Right then guys, before I start off this diggers video, I'm going to start it off in a very similar fashion to my last blog, and that's by telling you about a fish I've had out my syndicate lake since filming this diggers video. It was sort of a bittersweet fish really, because I've done 2 nights on the syndicate last weekend, and on the first night I unfortunately lost a fish. Never got to see it, but it felt absolutely massive. You know, when you've got that absolutely dead weight on the end of your line and you just can't shift it, you know it's a big fish, and that's exactly what it felt like. Took me into some snags and snapped my line, so I had my head down in the dumps. But next morning, the fish I'm about to show you with a couple of photos graced my net at exactly 22 pounds, so it was a nice fish, but sort of a bittersweet fish. So anyway, let's crack on with this video, but first with these photos. Hello!
Hi.
And welcome to episode 92. My first blog for about a month now, and for this video I've been joined by Alex.
Hi.
I think at some point during this session I'm going to be joined by Clark Adams and his girlfriend Claire. Was meant to be joined by my mate Sean and his wife Jennifer as well, who've been in previous blogs of mine, but unfortunately they was in a car crash last week, so they're battered and bruised and in hospital at the moment. So first things first, I'd like to wish them a speedy recovery. So unfortunately they can't be here. But anyway, we're at Digger Lakes down in Devon. Nice 2-hour drive in the fog, wasn't it, to get here?
Lovely.
Driving at the speed limit for a change because of the fog. But anyway, won't talk about speed limits. But
yeah, let's not.
anyway, well, let's not waffle on too much. As per normal, we're in the cabin to do this intro with all the photos of the diggers' fish here. But anyway, stop waffling, let's crack on.
Let's
go fishing. Right, and guys, we're fishing now. We're currently sat at the back of Alex's swim at the moment. We're in a swim known as Brick Point. I think it's one of like the favourite the swims on the lake for some reason. I think it's a swim that has a reputation for some of the big girls coming out, especially Fat Lynn before she got put into Percy's lake next door. So I think you already had your heart set on this swim, didn't you, before you?
Yes, mate.
Before we got here.
Yes.
We did do a lap of the lake before we got fishing, just to see signs of activity. If anyone knows Digger Lakes, it's not one big lake, it's all bays, alleyways, cut-throughs, islands. So you really sort of have to be on the fish to sort of catch them really. So we've done a lap of the lake before we got fishing, and I'm in the swim to the left. I can't actually remember what the name of the swim's called, but it's some bay or something like that. It's got quite a bit of water, and when we was walking around, that swim did show quite a few signs of fish activity, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
It was probably the one swim that had the most activity, wasn't it, when we had a walk around?
I've seen nothing else.
And but coincidentally it is the swim right next to where Alex wanted to be, so we have managed to stay nice and social. That's until you start doing my head in and I'll bugger off. So we are fishing at the moment. I'm not fishing properly on the tactics and bait that I want to be fishing, just to get fishing quick while I set up camp and everything. I just chucked up
chucked out 2 pre-tied PVA bags just so I am fishing. In a minute I'm gonna start my campaign properly with the bait, rigs, tactics, baiting up, etc. that I want to do for this session. And if Alex catches anything, we'll go into that as well.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Right, guys. So I'm going to start me sort of campaign properly now of how I want to fish, baiting up, etc. rigs and all that. I've yet to tie the rigs I'm going to fish on. At the moment I'm still fishing on the rigs I first chucked out on the pre-tied PVA bags. So I'm going to go through what I'm going to do. I've brought with me a load of boilies. I've brought 2 kilos with me for the 48-hour session. I've got a kilo in this bucket here, another kilo still in the air dry bag. And I'm fishing on the Cotswold, well, going to be fishing on the Cotswold Club mix from Boss Baits. It's the bait I'm using on the syndicate water at the moment. So what I'm going to do, so as I said, I've got about a kilo of boilies, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the old quarter cutter and I'm going to just chop a load into halves, and that would be my baiting approach. I haven't brought any pellets, any spod mix or anything. Well, I've got pellets, just the micro pellet I'm going to be using for my PVA bags, but no baiting up pellets. I mean, so my baiting up approach is just going to be sort of boilies or half boilies, and then like I say, once this sort of kilo of boilies has all been halved, what I'm going to do, the 2 spots that I'm then going to choose to fish. And not long ago actually, just to my left, a fish just boshed out in mid-water, so that's a good sign. And one just boshed out about 5 minutes before that in Alex's swim as well. So we do have showing fish in our swims. So as I was saying, yeah, once this kilo's been halved up, I'm going to put about half a kilo of these half boilies on each rod. And then I'll do the same tomorrow with the other kilo of boilies I've got in the air dry bag still. And that's pretty much going to be my baiting approach. Sort of just baiting up with half boilies and then my solid PVA bags. I'll probably do 1 rod on a bottom bait tipped with a bit of a high vis plastic, and then the other rod I'd probably do on a small pop-up. Well, not probably, I will, I've already decided that's what I'm going to do. So that's pretty much going to be my strategy and my baiting approach for this session. And even the sun's just starting to come out and blind me a little bit, so that's nice. It's been sort of quite dull and overcast so far, which is great for fishing conditions. Right, anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on. I've done about half this kilo so far, so I'm going to crack on, do the rest of this, and then I'm just going to be using a trusty old catapult. Here we are. No need for spodding or anything in this swim. Everywhere's within catapult range. There's a swim round to my left with a little platform on it. I'm going to run round to that in a minute to catapult the spot I want to do for my left hand rod. And there's a nice little tree up against the island, sort of overhangs and that. I'm going to do for my right hand rod. At the moment both of my rods are just sort of open water, but I'm going to change all that once I start the baiting up. Anyway, less waffling, less baiting. More baiting even. Right then guys, I'm now fishing how I want to be. After I last spoke to you, in fact it was after I was catapulting out all that bait, I had a run on the left hand rod. Unfortunately, lost it. One of them pre-tied PVA bags that I just chucked out willy-nilly just to get fishing. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very good hook on that rig, and I got a feeling that's why it didn't hook up. Wound it in and it was blunt as anything, as blunt as an old cocktail stick it was. So I've had a run, just didn't land it. So I'm now fishing. I've just tied 2 new hook lengths. I'm fishing on the bait I want to be, on the Cotswold Club Mix and Boss baits, which I've baited up with. Left hand rod I've cast onto a really silty area, so I've got a pop up on that one, tipped with a bit of pink corn. Right rod I've got a wafter on, that's tipped with a bit of yellow corn, and I showed you that cast. That's cast tight to the tree just to my right. So now fishing how I want to be. Hopefully I'll have a bit more success if I do hook into and have a run. Hopefully I'll look into this one now, because new hook links on each one, nice sharp hooks. I'll show you the rigs in detail if I do get a landed fish. But nice short hook links, 3 inches long, to go in the PVA bags. Like I say, I'll show that in more detail if I do catch. Oh, Clark has just turned up as well, and his girlfriend Claire. He's just, he's just been down and borrowed me barrow to run back to the car park and go and get all his gear. He reminded me that my swim is called Guys. So yeah, I mean Guys Swim. If you ever watched me first ever blog, first time I ever come to Diggers, not my first ever blog, my first blog here at Diggers, this is the same swim I fished. When Clark just come round, he said he's just seen fish showing in the swims which are sort of right behind me and Alex. Really, the swim right behind is called Diesels. He said Claire's going to go into that swim, and then the swim next further up, I can't remember what that's called, but Clark's going to go there. So really, we are going to be all nice and social for this 48 hours. Anyway, I'm waffling on now, just waiting for one of these bad boys to scream off, and then we'll be in action. Good morning guys. Had another run last night, during the night, at 1:30 in the morning, and unfortunately all I brought in was a big lump of Canadian pondweed. That was on the left hand rod again, the same rod I had the run on yesterday, and there was nothing on the end. I had a nice sharp hook on this time, so I'm not sure why it didn't convert into a landed fish. But just been having a bit of a lead around, as you've just seen. My right hand rod I'm going to leave where it, my left hand rod, I'm going to leave where it was, because that's had 2 runs on it now from the spot I'm fishing. So that is, I'm going to leapfrog my right hand rod round to my left, where I've just been led in around to have a feel round. I'm going to fish up to the lilies over in the distance behind me. So my left rod is now going to become my right rod, my left rod, if you get me. found a nice little clear spot up against the lilies I want to fish. Don't think Alex has had any signs of fish in his swim. Clark and Claire behind me haven't had nothing either. Claire's gone on to Percy's, which is right behind us, for a few hours on the run to try and get a fish. Anyway, need to get a rig back on the end of this lead, get it back out into my new spot, which I've just found. Right, let's get on with that. And guys, it's a bit of an update time. Not a lot to really update you with, because obviously there's been no fish action. I've just had a fish bosh out in my swim. I can zoom in. As you can see, one rod's lent up against me shelter at the moment. That's because I've just been led in about to get as closest to these lilies as possible when I do a recast in a minute. Somewhere in amongst them lilies is a single yellow flower, which is my target point, which I've just clipped up to. Can't see it on camera. Where's the yellow flower? It's there somewhere. Anyway, somewhere in amongst them lilies, I can see it from the bank, there is a yellow flower, which is my aiming point. I've just clipped up to it. But anyway, fish just boshed out where I've just been showing you, right under them trees. So just winding my left hand rod, and then I'm going to put it as closest to them lilies as I can. Well, so I've just been led in around to clip up the range. So as soon as I finish this bit, I'll get that rig back out. Clark, who was behind me in that swim there, he has moved. He didn't feel it was happening, and he's now over the other side of the lake. No, he's over there in the distance, the other side of the lake. Alex down in Brick Point, also still waiting for his first fish. Yeah, I had a walk around the lake earlier on, and couldn't see signs of fish anywhere really. That fish just boshing out under them trees in the distance. That's actually the second sign of a fish I've seen in my swim today, because earlier on when Clark was over here having a chat, we see a fish bosh out over there, or just to the left of that white post. So that had a fresh PVA bag chucked to it, but nothing's picked it up. Like I said, now a fish is just shown over there. A PVA bag is going to go over there as well now. It's proving to be a bit difficult. It's early evening time now. And now really just whenever fish are showing themselves, I'm just chucking PVA bags at them now. But they sort of show once and then don't show again. Is sort of really the form of what's been happening. Right, anyway, need to get this rod back out, so let's crack on, otherwise I ain't going to catch naffle. Right guys, just before 6 o'clock in the morning. Just had my third run, no fish though. That's what I've been left with for the second time after having a run.
just a big lump of Canadian pondweed. This is on the left hand rod where I cast tight to them lilies yesterday. When I was leading around, I know I was finding a clear spot, so I was in the clear. Just by the time it took me to get at me bivvy, the fish has gone into the weed. Managed to weed me up, get rid of the hook, even though the rules here are barbed hooks. The fish is still managing to lose the hook in the weed. So my third run has come to weed it up rig for the second time. Oh well, try again.
Right guys, coming towards the end of this session now. As you can probably see over my shoulder and there, all bits all over the place now, starting to pack down. Don't know what to say about this session really. Been a bit sort of depressing, knowing I've had the runs and none of them have connected, albeit the first one being my own fault due to that blunt hook. Should always check your rigs before you cast out, I suppose. Well, Alex got up early this morning. He's gone on to Percy's, the runs water here, to try and get a fish for their camera for the last few hours worth of fishing. Clark and Claire went home last night. Claire wasn't feeling very well, so they went last night, which is a bit of a shame because they still had we should have still been fishing now really. I've heard of 2 fish that have come out while I've been down here, and they've both come out right down the other end of the lake. So although I've had runs and although there's been the odd shown fish up this end of the lake, for whatever reason they haven't hooked up, they haven't connected, haven't landed them, and the fish I know of have come out, have been down the far end, so don't know what to make of this session really. It's been tough. Like I say, packing up now, so gonna crack on with doing that, sort of just trying to leave the Fox Super Brolly a bit longer to let it dry out, because it's a bit damp on the outside still from the night condensation. It was a very misty night last night and it's still absolutely soaking wet, don't want to put it away wet. Anyway, less sort of waffling, crack on while packing up. Rods are still out at the moment, but ain't going to be much longer before they come in. Hopefully the carp gods can look down on me for about the last hour.
Alright guys, back where we started this video, in the shed of photos of fish we didn't see, nice looking fish I would have liked to have seen, fish. Right, going home now. Unfortunately it's been a blank. Tried our hardest but to no avail. We've heard of a few fish that have come out while we've been here, but it all sounds like it was at the complete opposite end of the lake, so the entrance side to where you come in. Some of these fish did put an appearance to people, but not to us. So you give it a go on the runs water, didn't you? And
I did.
Got them nice and early to give that a bash, but even the runs water fish wasn't playing, were they? So
Nope.
You think of anything to add, or should we just?
I think we should just go.
Yeah. Well, if you've managed to sit through all this blank episode, thank you very much. My next blog I'll be filming at the end of next week. I'll be back down at Festival Fishery at Glastonbury for my next blog. So I know my blogs have been a bit thin on the ground lately, but that'll be my next one. So hopefully that will produce a few fish for me. Getting a bit depressing all the blanks I'm doing, especially on the syndicate. Anyway, let's call it a day, let's go home. Thanks for watching, bye bye.